So in this part of the Hyzenthlay 2 review, I will be teaching you guys how to transform the Hyzenthlay 2 into the mobile armor mode. So the G top fighter, G bottom fighter, and the mobile armor mode itself. So you do not need to worry, timestamps will be provided in the description below for the transformation and the quick look of each of the parts. So let's just get right into it. So first of all, obviously what you need to do is to separate the top half and bottom half of the body, and you can just see how different their mass is. So let's move the bottom off to the side, if it could even go off camera because it's too freaking large, and let's get on with it. So for the top body, what you need to do is to take everything off of this core unit, because this is a parts former, obviously. So you could just remove the chest plate, remove the arms, and then remove the shark head on the back. Now this is different to the shark head on the TR-6 Hazel 2 because it does have a different pegging system, which means it will not flop about, twist about on the back of the Hyzenthlay 2. Now this thing could get out of my way. Now what you need to bring in next is these two pieces right here. So first of all, use this piece, you take off the red piece and you just tip it up, repeg it in like so, and then you plug the chest plate over here onto the new piece right here. And then this is a reconstructed drum frame for the transformation, so you plug it back in like so, and then you plug the shark head onto it like so, and the tab on the red piece actually tabs right into the shark head. Open up the diffuse beam cannon if you so choose. Now you move on to the arms, remove the hands right here, and then rotate the forearms and then just tuck them right in there. And then now you remove the cannons on the shoulders, flip this piece up, and then you rotate the arms, and now make sure that you're flipping this the right direction. So ultimately you want the connectors for the shoulder cannons to face inwards. So here you go, plug them in and have them a little bit outwards because that is the form of the G top fighter. And then you basically replug the cannons over here with the scopes facing sideways. Same goes for the other arm. Finally, you will want to bring in this adapter right here and plug this peg into this hole right here, and also this peg into this rectangular hole in the adapter. So plug it on, and now you bring in a composite shield booster and remove the arm when you have the arm up. So now this has provided us with a poly cap so as to connect the composite shield booster onto the G top fighter. And also it did provide us with an action base hole. So let's bring in the action base that it comes with. This is a custom arm that is swapped on. Now, by the way, this arm cannot be boosted up with the booster block, just like the old Gundam seat stand arms. So you're gonna be stuck with this altitude, even though the ultimate mobile armor mode is gonna be lower than the stand. I'm gonna show you what I mean in a second, but as of right now, it causes next to no problems for the G top fighter. So let's take a look at the G top fighter first, and I have to say this thing does look really interesting. Now this thing does go untapped quite often. Now you make sure you readjust it, but it's not that big of a deal because it doesn't cause any structural integrity issues. The polycap on the composite shield booster, you really need to do some testing because it does kind of droop from time to time, at least on mine. But all in all, this thing does look pretty good. I couldn't even make out that this is the top half of the body before assembling this thing. Of course, now I know these are the arms and all this kind of stuff, but yeah, it just looks pretty damn good. I like the colors on it. Like, you can see more of these metallic green complementing the blue, the yellow, and the red over here. It just looks good. The silhouette does look good, and yeah, it just looks like a pretty unique top fighter. Doesn't look like anything, which is why it will stand out next to a Double Zeta crowd. If you are a Double Zeta collector, that is, because, well, the mechanic over here is carried over to the Double Zeta in the Universal Century timeline. So yeah, this thing would definitely pop out. So now we move on to the transformation of the G bottom fighter. So what you firstly want to do is to remove the legs from the waist. Now, not only that, you will need to remove the joint that is right in here. So it is plugged on by a rectangular peg, which is very, very thick, no pun intended. So you will need some mechanical help if you have some trouble in removing these pegs right here. And then now what you need to do is to remove this entire leg joint. So off it goes. And then what you need now, first of all, is to remove the shell and remove the fins, just like the wound wart. And let's just transform this block first. So first of all, you want to have the arms that connect the waist skirts flat, so just expand the waist. Let's leave these parts off to the side for now, and let's move on to the legs. So first of all, you will want to take off these panels right here and just put them off. You'll want to take off the feet, and this will not be needed anymore. And now I have to tell you guys this is a broken kit. What do I mean by this? Well, since the leg over here is fully transformable, and the transformation mechanism basically didn't work for me because I do not know where to apply force. So basically this peg is broke, but that didn't affect the structural integrity a single bit. So what you actually want to do if you have actually broken that peg accidentally is to have some mechanical help and rotate this connector to where it is supposed to be, and then just basically connect this piece into the hole over here, just like so. And then of course rotate the blades out, and then open up the cannon missile container, I don't know, up the knees. Now what you want to do with an intact leg is first of all remove the panels, remove the feet, and what you actually need to do is to tip this thing back and then apply a little bit of force towards the peg like so, and then rotate this thing out, rotate the wound wart's legs, and then you want to connect this thing to the hole over here. But that is where I broke the peg. Now what you want to do now is to apply a little force like so towards the peg, and then just collapse the entire thing. Now it's risky, I know, but yeah, there we go. It's not really that smooth, but it's alright. And then you flip out the sensors over here, which does have metallic green stickers. Same goes with the one here. Now this is better because the wound wart doesn't have the flipping sensors, but the Hyzenthlay custom parts do have them. Now you have all of this prepped, so now we need to bring in this. This is the new joint that is going to go into the legs. Now you need to have the peg facing forward like so. So the dual pegs over here are facing towards the back. So you basically plug that right back into the waist, and then you connect the legs right back onto the pegs over here. So these are going to go into this peg deep down here. So just plug that on. There we go. And then you need to bring in this adapter right here. So this adapter basically locks everything in. So it connects into this and also the gap inside the armor piece of the wound wart leg. So connect it into there. It's a little bit fiddly just because the armor is so thick over here. So you might want to just look out. So here we have it. So what that provides is a port for the large pieces of leg armor to connect to. So you have the 1, and here we have the 2. And then the smaller pieces of leg armor go back into the inside. So here we have it. And now flip the phalanx subarm down, like so, and then bring the piece over here up. It's on a double hinge, and you basically connect this peg right into this hole, and then this rectangular peg into this rectangular hole. So basically cover up the original connections of the top. And then just basically adjust the polycap first, and then plug the turtle shell back on. And last but not least, do not forget the fins over here. Now these fins are the same fins that came from the TR-6 wound warts and the Hazel 2 However, they feel different because they do not just slip out like those two kits. They actually stay in very solidly. And now I plugged it onto the stand with an adapter, so you just basically plug the adapter into the waist and then plug it onto the stand right here. So now we have the G bottom fighter. So the G bottom fighter looks interesting to say the least, and I have to say, well, there is of course a lot less color because the only red on this section of the body is under here, like it's facing towards the bottom. Now you do have a lot of yellow exposed and a little bit of metallic green, and of course the blue body, the two tones of blue. And now the flipped out sensors over here, you cannot really see them because of these pieces that actually cover them up. But yeah, all in all, it just looks pretty interesting to say the least. Now, it is a very interesting bottom fighter. The butt flap over here does give it a very, very cool back end. But other than that, I don't know, it's just really, really cool. Like, of course, you do have the missile launchers down here, and you have the claw. The claws look nice. And I don't know what to say. This is just an interesting looking bottom fighter. Now, here it is compared to the G top fighter right here. So, this is more complex looking than the top fighter because the top fighter you have to actually switch out the core chunk. But I appreciate that the bottom fighter does not have that necessity. You actually still use the waist frame of the mobile suit mode. And I actually appreciate how the legs are kind of fully transformable except for the connections between the legs and the waist. So that mechanic is good, but be careful to not break your actual leg. But if you break it, it's not really that big of a deal. Not to say that you can go breaking that peg anyways, but it isn't really too big of a hindrance if you actually broke that. But anyways, I like how they implemented the mechanics into transforming the bottom bit into the G bottom fighter. And yeah, it's just pretty good looking and pretty interesting and entertaining to say the least somehow to transform, even though it's mostly a parts former. So now with the two out of the way, let's combine both of these things into the mobile armor mode. So what you need to do, first of all, for the bottom fighter, let's talk about that first, is to remove the shell and bring the fins back in. So if you are transforming this from the mobile suit mode straight to the mobile armor mode, you really do not need to take off the fins, so you can just leave them where they were. Like so. Let's just move that off to the side for now. And then you need to take off the side pieces over here, including the little ones that are inside, like so. Same thing goes for the other side. And then of course you need to close up the missile launchers, beam launchers, I don't know what they are. Close them up. And then you retract the, nope, I say retract, not remove. So you actually need to retract the blades right here for the claw legs and then remove them entirely. Same goes for here. And then you need to remove this adapter from the legs. And then you need to flip this polycap back. And then just reconnect the turtle shell back onto this polycap, like so. There we have it. And then for the G top fighter, it's easy to prepare. So you basically take off the composite shield booster and the adapter, and then rearrange the arms so that they're streamlined. And now I did forget to flip these back down when I was reverting it from the mobile armor mode. So you basically have the scopes facing up in mobile armor mode. So let's move all of this off to the side for now. So what you need to do for the G bottom fighter is to bring in these two pieces. Now these two pieces basically extend the legs. So what you want to do is to plug in this peg into this hole over here, and concurrently this gap into the, okay, that has fell off, into here. So just basically slide all of this in, and it basically locks everything into place. Same thing goes for the other side. So here you have it. And now you basically plug the legs back on, like so. So basically they're just extended. And then what you do for the little armor pieces over here is to just plug them back on, but plug them onto the pegs that are provided by the new adapter piece. So just plug them in, and also there is also a little hole over here so that this peg right here just plugs right into that. So you will know you have done things right if you have both pegs plugged onto both holes. So here you have it. And then before I plug on the G-Top Fighter, let's plug on the composite shield booster first, because this is the most finicky part. So you basically bring in this arm over here, and then there's a keyhole over here, so you plug it into the key on the composite shield booster like so, and then you plug these grooves into there, right where my finger is. So basically slide it on. It's even more finicky because it is on a action base, so plug that on. And then now you can plug on the G-Top Fighter right back into here. So now you have the mobile armor mode of the Hyzenthlay 2. So the mobile armor mode, I have to say, it looks very good. It's just fantastic looking because it is not a jet. It is not a motorcycle. It is a freaking mothership. Like, this thing will stand out in your crowd of transformable mobile suits if displaying the alt modes of your Gundams is your shtick. Like, this thing is not a jet, and I really love it for that. And of course, well, most of it is just basically the G-Top Fighter just plopped into here, and it's just majorly changing the G-Bottom Fighter. But man, this thing is a very cool looking mobile armor mode, and I will have to attest to that. Man, this thing is just gigantic and looks like a mothership. These could easily be catapults. These could easily be the turret. This could be the bridge. And oh my god, this thing just looks fantastic and stands way out from the transformable crowd. So now let's bring it to scale. Like, here is a normal size Gundam, and as you can see, it is freaking huge. Now, as a meme right now, here's the core Gundam. It could easily sit on it as a mode of transportation. Like, this is how huge this thing is. Like, of course, this will be really space inefficient. However, I still love it nonetheless. Now, this is not the most extreme form of the mobile armor form. I will get to that in the Hyzenthlay 2 review. But anyways, that's it for the transformation part and the entire review of the Hyzenthlay 2. What do I think of this kit as a whole? Well, the mobile suit mode, it's good looking. It doesn't have much articulation, which is expected because it's basically just armed up to the teeth with stuff. And the huge stature, it's basically just a good mobile suit mode. How about the transformations? Well, it's complex, but not complex to a point where I just start to get tired of it. It is actually fun to transform the Hyzenthlay 2 into each of its different forms. This thing is solid as well in all of the forms, except for the composite shield booster in the G-Top Fighter form, because that's just held on by a single polycap. But in the G-Bottom Fighter mode and also the MA mode, it is very, very solid. Unlike some of the transformable model kits out there, which just has a good transformation, however everything just starts to fall to pieces whenever you're trying to move it, or just gets out of alignment. Let me put it in that way. This thing is just solid. I really love how this thing just works. And yeah, really nothing to say about it. It is a 7 out of 10. It is not great, but not too shabby either. It is way above average. So if you guys still somehow find a deal for the Hyzenthlay 2, or if you wait a bit, or even it is up for pre-order now, the Hyzenthlay 2 Ra that is going to come to those of you in Japan in next February, but to me, it is next March. So if you somehow find a deal for this thing, or if you want to go for the Hyzenthlay 2 Ra, definitely go ahead and pick that up. I will absolutely recommend you guys to pick this kit up. Yeah, it is a lengthy process, it is big, it is space inefficient, but ultimately it is fun. So that's all I can say about it. And it looks good as well. So that's just a cherry on top. Thank you all so much for watching this video. If you did like it, please be sure to drop a like, comment, and also subscribe for more Gunpla reviews, Gunpla news, and all that kind of stuff. Subscribe to the featured channels on my channel page if you haven't, and I'll see you all in the next video. Peace out, guys. Bye bye.